During this course, we learned the importance of communication through an organization. Effective communication is one of the main reasons companies achieve success. Organizations must be able to deliver the proper information through the right channels to the recipients of the message. It is imperative that the recipients understand the message as the messenger intended, or it can cause a lot of confusion, stress on the recipient, and just a disjointed feeling between the messenger and the audience or the recipients of the message. In Module 5, we learned about how noise can have a negative impact on effective communication. Noise is an interference between the messenger and recipient. When it comes to effective communication, noise is a great concern. Noise creates a distraction to the audience when they are trying to understand or decode the message from the messenger. There are multiple examples of noise when it pertains to communicating messages, such as noise can be detected in written documents or through verbal communication, such as improper grammar and spelling and the use of slang. Noise can also be caused by environmental factors, such as loud AC units, dim lighting, missing chairs, and broken equipment needed for a presentation. These are all examples of noise when it comes to communication. I'm sure you can think of other examples, but those are just a few. All these examples act as a barrier to effective communication because it is literally blocking the messenger from delivering a clear message to their intended audience. Effective communication doesn't include distractions or misinterpretations. So, to mitigate noise from being a barrier when leaders and organizations are communicating to their employees or customers or audience or external donors or anything of those nature, all organizations should be proactive and think of anything that would be considered noise, even the smallest things. If you're having a meeting in an office, make sure there's enough seating. Check the temperature, make sure it's not too hot or too cold. Ensure you have enough paper or pens if audience needs to take notes. Make sure there's enough lighting so audience or employees aren't straining their eyes to see, or maybe it's too bright. Put a sign on the door so there aren't any interruptions from people walking in and out. Send a reminder of the time the meeting starts so people are on time and people are not worried about the meeting running over and getting to the next meeting, which also will be a distraction. And lastly, if you're using equipment such as a projector screen or maybe a speaker, make sure the equipment works ahead of time before the presentation. Another example is if you're sending a formal notice to your staff, there's a written document. Double check the spelling and grammar and make sure the information in the document makes sense. And so it is written in a way that all staff can understand clearly what is needed from them or what is happening in the organization or any changes that are happening. We want to make sure that is very clear. When it comes to addressing these noises as a concern, I believe operations team and the leadership team should be responsible for making organizations should be responsible for addressing the organizational noise so the organization is not consistently running into issues when communicating internally and externally. Although companies may try their best to address the noise, sometimes it may still occur. The goal is to least minimize the noise. Also, sometimes a message will land differently depending on who's receiving the message. So, a good rule of thumb for companies is just to plan for effective communication and address when feedback is given about the message being sent out. I imagine that all organizations and companies want to build a positive, strong culture, and effective communication is one way to do just that. So it is important to understand that noise in communication impacts the company's culture. And the biggest disadvantage of noise is the miscommunication and the stress it may cause employees and even the customers and audience the company serves. Unclear communication doesn't build trust, transparency, or a strong bond between organization and their employees and customers. The negative impact of the noise can cause employees to quit, customers to use another company, or in many cases, maybe a school with miscommunication may cause parents to transfer their kids to other schools because they don't like the communication style. I don't believe there's any advantages when it comes to noise. Communication should be clear. This reminds me of a book I read by Brene Brown, which she stated that unclear is unkind, and I truly believe that.